Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Nick Martinez podcast. I'm your host, Nick Martinez. Today, we're going to be answering the question, what does it mean that the world sounds differently than it looks? Specifically, we're going to be looking or listening to the military basic training or recruit training and the auditory imprints left on its recruits. Sounds are all around us every day. So much so that when we see something, we already cast expectations about what we are seeing and how it should sound like. Military service members, for all services, must go through an indoctrination phase at the beginning of their contract called recruit training, basic training, or entry-level training. They do this to develop a new auditory memory bank. These memories serve as shortcuts to communicate information faster. During this training period, members are introduced to a wide variety of new sounds, which mark, with high importance, what could be expected in a combat scenario.
Every time I say ready, move, it should be like an explosion. Do you understand? Yes, sir! Okay, scream at the top of your lungs. Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Linen on the rack, ready, move! Hands open, sir! At no time will your linen touch the deck. Do you understand? Yes, sir! At no time will your linen touch the deck. Do you understand? Yes, sir! Good, linen on top of the rack, ready, move! Let's go!
As a service member progresses through the career, they may be called upon to deploy overseas, of course. This period of pre-deployment preparation, or PDP, serves as a new set of markers that is specific to the theater of operations the service member is expected to visit. Using overarching themes from Communications 440, we're going to begin to unpack the concepts and theories as to why the training is structured the way it is. As mentioned earlier, basic training is not only just filled with marching, extremely loud shouting,
Let me hear that thunder, that same battalion, boom, that hotel company,
and explosions, but also the dry chambering of weapons through close order drill. Also imparted on fresh recruits are the audible characteristics of ballistics. Pauline Oliveros' concept in deep listening helps us understand that during basic training, the service member is being conditioned to direct their attention to what is heard, to gather its meaning and interpret the information. Then they're expected to decide on the appropriate action. She argued that by focusing on the entirety of our sonic environment, we could gather more than just the top loudest layers. This shaping is the recruit's entry into the military culture and the standardization of noises commonly found in the military and in combat. One of the most important noises a recruit hears is the sound of bullets whizzing overhead. It is undeniably distinct and calls for immediate attention. The rifle qualification ranges have two different sound markers depending on which area you're standing. It's either going to be bang bang
107,
or snap snap. But how can the military safely introduce this dangerous sound to service members? Here's how. Recruits take turns pulling down and spotting 6-foot targets for the others who are actively shooting on the firing line. They do this from what they refer to as the pits. Imagine a hole big enough for you to jump in with about 4 feet of clearance above your head. But what this does is it allows to keep them a safe distance away from rounds that are flying at over 3,000 feet per second overhead.
Air, ACL, these dog targets. He's not 5 and shot spotter. And that horse going to show value that shot. Do you understand it's November?
Yes, sir!
You're done. Get these dog targets up high in the sky. Get these dog targets up high in the sky. Let these shooters see their groups. Let's go. 10, 9, 8.
They do this until it's time for their relays to switch with the firing relays. What is interesting is that the snap cannot be heard over 15 yards. This serves as an indication to the recruits of immediate danger, and marking this sound with the ability to communicate without words that they should urgently seek cover. Barry Truax's concepts from acoustic communication argued that this principle was the communication of information through sound or the transference of energy. He argued how things could be interpreted without words, and these served as shortcuts. For the military, if ever the sound was heard, it would communicate the inherent danger of the bullets snapping nearby in proximity to the soldiers' own bodies, and a stark reminder to their own mortality. Another purpose of imbuing this unique sound into individuals is explained in a case study by R. Murray Schafer. He writes in the soundscape of sounds being tied to locations. In Schafer's examples, he refers to Tin Pally Alley in New York City. This area was a major hub for manufacturing in the United States. The soundscape was filled with the sounds of machines making pots and pans, lots of clanking, and industrial work could be overheard. Steel and iron have a unique sound not found in nature. So through close order drill, recruits are also taught to recognize the sound of a weapon cycling on a chamber.
Inspection! Ah! Point! Ah! Cruise command boss, port arms, Craig's help. No shit, right?
Yes, sir!
Oh, good! Ah!
This repetition imprints the noise into the thoughts of training and also serves as an indicator of a possible enemy combatant's location. Secondly, troops are taught how to march in unison. Mark Smith discusses how noise can be a form of control, and he talks about how Harriet Tubman learned how to walk stealthily through the woods. Similarly, troops are taught to walk slowly in a heel-toe motion at night when on a night patrol. In addition, they also look for footprints left by the soldier in front of them. This indicates that the area is a booby-trap safe zone and not prone to landmines. Also, packed dirt is more silent than loose dirt. And in a scenario where noise could give away your position, that's something that the troops do not want to do. They are also taught to tie up loose ends of their packs and weapon slings, or anything that just might get caught on something along the trail, causing any extra noise. By practicing noise discipline, troops hope to gain an advantage or the element of surprise over their enemy. And by alerting the enemy of their presence is to give up their own power. Once the recruit has completed the entry-level training and their specific job training, they're off to their units. Before their unit deploys, though, they undergo deployment-specific training. Sometimes this pre-deployment preparation, PDP, consists of patrols through urban makeshift towns. These towns are complete with livestock, such as chickens, goats, and anything else that they may see in country, and also complete with marketplaces. The military then hires Arabic-speaking actors to occupy these towns. These actors are given very specific instructions to not speak English and to remain in character.
أنا عمري 30 سنة وأنا متزوج ولي أطفال صغار وذلك يعني أن لدي مشكلة في النوم لأن الأطفال يستيقظون كثيرا في الليل ولا يتركونني أن أنام جيدا كما أريد.
This type of strategy being used can be analyzed using case studies from Sophie Arquette. She maintained that locations have their own set of sound markers and sonic profiles which could be used to identify them. Therefore, the military wants to make the transition to an Arab environment easier on its service members by offering similar identities and sound markers. To accomplish this, they incorporate training speaking in Arabic to non-military affiliated people. The service members would need to successfully solve problems, acquire information, and communicate with the role players to successfully negotiate the obstacle, or to reach a rally point using intelligence gained from the local populace. By being exposed to negotiating in Arabic during peacetime, it dramatically increases the success of service members and their ability to perform while forward deployed. So in summary, much of the military training taking place today can be traced back to history, tradition, and proven practices. Not much is explained to the recruit where these nuances originated, but by using some of the information uncovered through COMM 440, the why can be looked at through a different lens. The reasons recruits are exposed to and conditioned with unique sonic profiles is warranted in order to create a lasting impression in such a short amount of time. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Nick Martinez. Have a good night.